the Mazda CX-9 is a family SUV. It has 3 rows, weighs 4,300 pounds and features a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder engine. So when Mazda says they want to build the best driving car in this segment, what does that mean? Is it going to affect the usability? Is it going to have a harsh ride? Are you even going to want to own the thing? So we're going to take this car on the highway to see how comfortable it is, through town to test out its practicality and usability, and then through the twisty bits to see how this car performs. And all of that's coming up on the Drive Guide. One of the first things you notice when you take this CX-9 into town is just how agile it is. The steering is quick, the car doesn't really float around. That being said, you don't get much feel out of the steering wheel. It is an electric power system, so you're not set up for success with that to begin with. But that was the first thing that really stood out to me about this car. Next thing that stood out to me was the throttle. Now, this car doesn't have a stop-start system like many other cars do, but every time that I've gone to an intersection and I'm at a red light and I'm sitting there a while, it feels like there's some kind of hesitation, but in other respects, the brakes are good, the gearbox is good, it's very quiet in here. The Bose sound system is fantastic as well. All-round visibility, I'd say, is actually quite good because you do have a blind spot monitoring system that's embedded in the wing mirrors up here at the front of the CX-9. You've got really large door bins to house water bottles, a couple of cup holders here, a nice big open space just below the climate controls. The ride comfort in town, I'd say it's soft without being wallowy. So I've set the passenger seat here in the exact same position as the driver's seat, and I can tell you that I am very comfortable in this middle row. I've got a fair amount of headroom, a little bit of knee room, and a ton of foot room. You do have a bit of a hump down here, although I don't think that's too big of an issue. And with the middle row, you do have this center console that folds out with 2 cup holders, and then if you lift up this space here, you also have a couple of USB chargers. And when we close that back up, just paying quick attention to the amount of space that is in the back seat pockets. You can very happily put a computer in both of them, and they're on both seats as well, which is incredible. So if you're like me and around the 6'4" region, I think you can be very happy in the middle row of this car. One thing to note too is that in the center here, you do have your climate controls, and the rear passengers can have their own separate settings. You can sync the two up on the front if you press the rear button, but they are fully independent of each other if they need to be. So when we attempt to climb into the back seat of the Mazda, oh my God, well, I'm in, and I can sit down, but I can't put my head up. At this point, I am breaking my neck, and it doesn't get any better by the time I want to lift up my seat. So, if I do so and put it in its normal position, knee room is non-existent, foot room is non-existent, but I do have a cup holder. We're on the highway now, and again, this car is very comfortable, it's very composed. When we talk about the interior of the CX-9, what I really like about it is that the portion of the dashboard that's closest to you is lower down than what the furthest portion is. That makes the cabin feel a lot bigger. A nice padding where you rest your elbows here and on the top here too. Nice thick grab handles down here. All the buttons feel great. I'm sure you know how I feel about the Mazda Infotainment system. That's all well and good here too. Problems that I have with the interior? There are those issues again with those flaps for the fuel release and the hood release. It just seems to be a parts bin issue. I don't think they're ever going to get around that one. This car does not have cooled seats whatsoever, and on a hot summer's day like today, I am perspirating like mad, and I desperately wish I had some cooled seats to help me out. Best part about the interior though is this heads-up display. So as we're driving along right now, I can see what my speed is, what my cruise control speed is, as well as what the speed limit is for this area. If you program something into the navigation, you'll see arrows and distances show up into that area to tell you which way you need to go. You have your sensors show up there too to let you know when you're within the radar distance for the cruise control, when the lane assist is working, when the blind spot monitoring system has detected something. The Mazda CX-9 only comes with one engine, and that's a turbocharged 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine. Here in the GT spec, it's mated to an all-wheel drive system, and all of them come with a 6-speed automatic gearbox. The way this car picks up power when you're on the highway, it goes to show that the numbers that you associate with power, it's how those numbers actually make you feel. I think you could be very happy taking this car for a long drive to the coast. When we talk about the exterior design of this CX-9, I do believe that this is the best iteration of the Kodo design language that Mazda has ever built. I love the way the lines slope down on the bonnet and onto the side of the car, and I love how the detail in the tail lights make it all blend in and taper off into a thin and sharp design. All right, so we're now on the twisty bits of the road where I'm gonna check out this car's performance. So we're gonna change into sport mode, and let's go for it. Okay, first thing I noticed right away, the engine is a lot raspier. The gears are being held at a higher RPM. The steering isn't any firmer, which is a bit of a surprise. That's typically one of the traits of a sports setting. Wow, almost no body roll there. That is staggering. Because the revs are held so high, the turbo doesn't have to worry so much about spooling up. It's already engaged exactly when you want it and when you plant your foot. The car's still reasonably comfortable. The sport mode truly hasn't upset the characteristics of this car. It's only enhanced them. All right, I take it back. Whatever I said in the beginning about this car simply couldn't handle without compromising something, I was so wrong. So incredibly wrong. I've got the confidence to do whatever I damn well please. I truly can't believe how well this car has performed in this environment. If you're the family man that had to sell his sports car to accommodate for his family, I think you really need to take a long, good look at this CX-9. So that has been my review of the 2017 Mazda CX-9. I cannot believe how well this car handled. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by the way it tore up those corners. But I think this car's best suited environment is on the highway. It was just so quiet, so comfortable, and I really do think that if you were to pick up one of these cars, you will not be disappointed. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.